Thank you for joining us. My name is Melanie Borsnell. I'm the Executive Director for Leadership and Learning at the HardyGroup. I'm joined today by Anne Skipper, who is a very experienced board director, executive and facilitator of the HardyGroup board governance sets. Anne, thank you for your time. So one of the questions that comes up quite a lot for us in our executive learning set is people that are experienced chief executives or executive directors, and they're really interested about exploring their first non-executive board director position. What would your advice be for these people?
Well, obviously, Melanie, they're very used to being chief executive reporting to a board. They know in depth about the organisation. The role of the board is very much a more strategic one, and it's working on the business and how you actually look at that in a very different framework. What are the processes and also the dynamic around being on a board? One of the good transitions and segues for chief executives, if they're considering it, is to enter onto the Hardy learning sets where they're with other board directors, chairs and deputy chairs to understand that dynamic and some of the nuances that they'll actually find that they spend more time on at a board level rather than in an executive level.
Thank you for that, Anne. So thinking about boards and the volatile climate and environment that we've seen during 2022, what do you think will be the biggest challenges for people in non-executive board director positions in 2023 and forwards?
One of the big challenges I think at the moment facing almost every board is the unknown context that we're working in geopolitical context. We're in a very unknown environment. I think, and that impacts every organisation. I think workforce challenges are constant on every board agenda nowadays. I think the other one we're starting to see is the rise in cyber attacks, security of data, how do we maintain our data, what are the processes we've got. And I think the looking at talent now and actually investing in talent, it's a different than a decade ago where almost we could get anybody in any position. Nowadays there is what we call the war for talent. So I think all of those things are really consuming board directors now, particularly in the health space and in the aged care space.
And lastly, Anne, what would be your advice for somebody that's experienced as a non-executive director? What is your advice for them to secure their first board chair position? What do you think the steps are for them to be enabled in that space?
I always say, first of all, who are your networks and what do they know about you? They might know you're a very good executive, but what would you bring? What skills and specific expertise would you bring to a non-executive career? The second is starting to do something that you're really passionate about or you know the topic. If you've been in health or you've been in aged care, it's an obvious place to start. And the third one is you've got to really start working at it exactly as if you were on the same trajectory as you are in your executive career. It takes time and it takes investment. But education and understanding is critical to actually understanding the role. That's almost the ticket to play. But then working out what specific expertise can I bring to that particular board. I think the other thing for me is also, you've got to look at who's the chair. That relationship needs to be a good and sort of fruitful one where you'll learn. A good chair you'll learn enormously from that person and your other fellow directors.
Very wise advice there, Anne. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.